Let's begin by making an estimate with an appointment in the management system. And we're going to move the vehicle health check up a little bit. And we're going to come over here to the appointment area. And we're going to say that they're going to bring this in on Wednesday. And we're going to save this. And we would expect it to show up on Auto Vitals in the incoming appointment area. Now we can see it's arrived. Let's move back over to management system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate that they decided they're going to bring it in today instead. We're going to click on today's date. They're going to want it back by the end of the day like they always do. Press save. And let's switch back over. Now you can see that it's actually changed date, and still it's in today's appointment because it hasn't been dropped off yet. Now let's have the customer actually drop the vehicle off. And to do that, what we're going to do is come over here. We're going to verify everything with the customer, make sure the hours and dollar amounts on here are correct. We're going to change it over to a repair order. Again, we're going to make sure the correct service advisor is on it. And we're going to dispatch it from today's vehicle page, so we're not going to assign a technician yet. And press save. What should happen shortly is after Auto Vitals identifies that the vehicle's been dropped off, it's going to be removed from the today's appointment screen. The jobs are going to be authorized, and it's going to show up in the no tech column at the bottom of the list, ready to dispatch. Now you can see it's arrived and waiting for inspection. We can see that all the jobs are authorized, and we can see all the notes and information here ready for the technician. I'm going to dispatch it to the technician by dragging and dropping it on Neil for him to work on. It's going to ask me, am I sure that I want him to do all the jobs on this? And I am, or I could split it up for others, but everything's going to Neil. And shortly thereafter, he should get an alert on his tablet saying that he has a new job assigned where he can start working on it. At first, he'll get an audible alert. Then he'll see this message coming in, and he can either open it or dismiss it by tapping on it. In this case, we're going to dismiss it, and we're going to take a profile picture of the vehicle before we get started. And we're also going to enter the mileage. So I'm going to tap here. I'm going to take a profile picture of the vehicle that'll be used across all visits. This is a picture that they just take one time and it's done. They don't have to take it every time they come in. And I'm going to enter the mileage. I'm going to tap to open the repair order. I'm going to read through the repair order to make sure what I have to do on it. In this case, I'm going to start out by looking at the customer request, and there's no time or anything involved with here. That's just an information line. So I'm going to tap it 100% done, and that's the service writer's assurance that I, as a technician, has read that information. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing my inspection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by doing my walk around pictures of all four corners. Obviously you can see that here's got a little bit of a customization going on in the front. And again, what we're going to do is go around the rest of the vehicle We might get the license plate for the service writer so they can go ahead and compare it with what's already in the system in case the license plate has been changed. We're going to move to the instrument cluster next. And in this case, we're going to tap that the check engine light is on. We're going to do a key on engine running test. And we're going to snap a picture of it so that way the customer can see exactly what we're talking about. We're going to have all the notes pre-populated for us. And we're going to drag the arrow and point right to the light. On the vehicle, the rear wiper on is torn, so you can see that it's already marked it a fail and it's already proposed the right job. It's already added the right customer notes to it. We're going to take a picture and we're going to drag an arrow right directly to where it hasn't been cleaning the glass, make it highly obvious for the customer. We might even take another arrow and go ahead and turn the rotation on it and drag it down so it's pointing right at the wiper blade. The headlights are in good shape on this thing. Everything's working good. The brake lights on this thing are good. There's no problem with the turn signals. We know the hood releases or hood supports have got a problem because they just tried to go ahead and slam our fingers. So we're going to say the hood shocks are not working. It's going to put the right job on there, mark it a fail. We're going to go ahead and take a picture of it. We're going to accept the notes, and we're going to take and put one arrow pointing to the hood strut on each side, so that way the customer knows that we want to replace both of them. The engine oil level, or the engine oil, is very dirty, so we're going to take a picture of it on the dipstick. Draw an arrow going right to it. The air filter on this vehicle is filthy. Take a nice picture of the air filter, drag an arrow over to the really dirty spot. Cabin air filter is nasty. We're going to accept the notes because they're doing a good job. We're going to drag an arrow or two showing the spots where it's kind of damaged and so on. The battery in this particular case is in good shape, but we're going to show the customer wear over time, so we're going to take a picture of it showing them that we did in fact test it today. It is in good shape. We're going to add an arrow. You can see because this is automatically in the good category, it's added a green arrow. And we're going to go on to the belt and temperature. We're going to say the belt on is fraying and the tensioner is making noise. We're going to press next. We're going to accept the notes that are in there, and we're going to add some other notes by tapping in this field for the service writer. Doesn't have to ask the technician a bunch of questions. This is the main serpentine belt. It has a 135 amp alternator. New line. This is the main tensioner. It has a smooth pulley. New paragraph. Estimated combined labor time is 3.0 hours. So again, if we give the service writer everything they need to know, it's going to go ahead and eliminate one more trip back into the shop and one less interrupt for the technician. Now you can see here, because there's two condition, it's added 2 jobs. I'm going to grab the arrow and I'm going to drag it up to where the fraying belt edge is. Let me rotate this one around a little bit, point right to that smooth pulley. Let's drag this one up here, and let's turn it around, pointing right to that frayed edge. The coolant on here, the level is low prior to service. Obviously, coolant doesn't evaporate, so we're going to recommend to diagnose the cooling system and find out what's wrong with it. The technician done his job, and he also spotted some coolant stains around the water pump. We're going to add a little note here. We're going to tap the microphone. There's coolant stains around the water pump. This is at least one place that it is leaking. And we're going to drag the arrow and point right over to where the stains are. The power steering fluid on this thing is pretty dark and nasty, so we're going to say service based on the fluid condition. Get a nice little picture there showing them what's going on. This is going to be in the reliability section. It doesn't necessarily have to be done today, although it does need to be done. Brake fluid moisture content is above 3%. That's an automatic fail. We're going to take a picture with a test tool, so that way it's not an arbitrary guess. We're just not saying it's dark or whatever. The transmission fluid on this vehicle is a sealed unit. The motor mounts on this thing are actually visibly torn. We're going to add some notes. This is the lower motor mount by the firewall, by the steering rack. New paragraph. Estimated labor time 1.8 hours. We're going to grab a picture of that, and we're going to take the arrow and we're going to point right to where the motor mount is. And now we're going to go ahead and finish up the inspection, and there's no issues on anything else. The technician has finished all the sections on it, and they can tell that because it shows a count here of inspections topics versus ones that are complete. They're all equal numbers across there, so they're going to go down here and submit the inspection. Yes, I want to submit it. And being they've got more work to do on this vehicle, they're going to go ahead and reactivate it. And they're going to continue working on other things. And they're going to mark the inspection 100% complete. We're going to get the tablet out of the way and let the technician keep working, and we're going to work on what the service writer is doing. When we tap on this, you can see that the technician has submitted the inspection. The service writer can tap on that, and then let's open it up. They can look down through here and make sure the inspection is complete. All the topics are filled out. All the pictures are here and so on. They can come down here and look for any notes that have been added by the technician. Make sure that they're approved. They can do any editing if they want to. But at this time, what we're going to do is change it over to creating estimate. And then what we're going to do is hit the work order update button. And we're going to send all these actions or jobs over to Napa TRACS so they can be estimated. We can see by the add-on here that there's a number count in here where the information has been submitted. I'm going to tap on this red icon here. And now you can see that the repair order for Steve Campbell's been submitted, and there's some information here. And what we want to do is actually import this automatically by the press of a button. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in the inspection link. And you can see down in the lower left-hand corner, it's added the inspection link. So I've copy and pasted the information in there, so that's my digital paperclip. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on the estimate button. And it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to import these? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to just drop these on sub-estimate number 9 just for grins and click OK. What we're looking for is a one-to-one relationship between what has been recommended by the technician and properly documented to what actually makes it to a sub-estimate and is estimated and later presented to the customer for approval. And now it's giving you a list of all the jobs that it brought in. Now at this point, you're ready to go ahead and start breaking these up into different sub-estimates and getting them to where they can actually be diagnosed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to drag this over to the number 1 priority spot because we know that that absolutely has to be done. We know that the cooling system has got to be diagnosed before they trash the vehicle. And these are things that might be a safety or breakdown issue. And we're going to drag these over here. But again, you're going to estimate everything on here just like you normally would, break it up into smaller chunks, and then let the customer play what if with you. In the meantime, what we're going to do is, while you're building the estimate here, as soon as the estimate's done, you're going to switch back over to today's vehicle page. And what you're going to do is you're going to switch it over to waiting for approval. And you're going to send the inspection results to the customer and let them look it over and then call you. So we want to remove the pressure from them. So again, they can see it's their own vehicle. They can see the service writer and the technician that's working on it. They can see everything related to pictures and stuff that might be showing them wear over time and information here. So what we're going to do is just press the send button. We're going to send it to him. Press OK. Now we can close this window and close this window. And now what's going to happen is it's going to start counting down 20 minutes from the time it was sent. So there's 20, 19, 18, 17, and so on. And then the service writer will be able to see the time counting up that the customer is actually looking it over. So what we want to do is have the customer look it over and then call the shop. And now we can look at this on the customer's device. And so they can see everything that's going on. They can scroll down through the list. They can see all the things that were inspected and they were in good shape. They can tap on the picture and they can see the exact test that was measured. And all the time that they're working on looking this over on their device, you'll see the time incrementing up here. What we want to do is let the customer look it over on their time and then call the customer back with buying decisions. And when they call the shop, what you're going to do is come over here and tab this customer called. And now you're going to review the inspection results with the customer. And then go over the repair estimate with them after you understand what they might want to do and not do. So in this case, what we're going to say is that they want to do the check engine light because obviously that's a problem that needs to be dealt with. We're going to drag it and drop it on here. And they're going to want to diagnose the cooling system. And those are the only two things that they want to do right now to make sure that they've got enough money to go ahead and get the rest of it done. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. And while you're recovering or going over all that with them, what you're going to do is come over to the today's vehicle page. So as we look here, now we can see the 2 additional jobs were added. So the customer wanted to go ahead and do the check engine light, and they wanted to go ahead and find out what was going on with the cooling system. And these will both show up on the technician's tablet also. You can see when they've appeared on the technician's tablet, you can see that they're highlighted in a yellow box, so that way the technician knows exactly what's changed since he looked at it last. I'm going to tap on it, and that is the technician's reminder to themselves that they've already read that particular job. And now what we're going to do is finish out this repair order, and we're going to add some notes. So we're going to pretend oil change done. And what you're going to see as I mark these jobs complete, you're going to see the jobs count change here, the hours change here, and also they'll be subtracting the hours yet to be completed and adding them in this column. So let's go through and pretend the technician is finishing these jobs up. And on the scan, we're going to add some notes here for the service advisor. The code stored was for the evaporative system. I found the gas cap was loose. The customer needs to tighten it up till they at least hear a few clicks, or they will have this happening again. I have cleared the codes at this time and verified by watching the monitors that it is now completed a self-test. The radiator cap was not fully tightened. It was letting the cooling system get pushed out of the reservoir period. Pressure test shows no other leaks at this time. Cap has been tightened and seal has been verified. Now the technician's done everything he can do on this vehicle. He's going to press the submit button, and away it goes. And he's going to choose the tee time, and he's going to go ahead and go back to assisting another tech for right now. Let's get the tablet out of the way. You can see that it's changed and he's assisting another technician. He's got no hours left to be completed. He's only halfway through the day and he's already completed 7.6 hours. Good job, hooray. We're going to come down on here and click on this, and basically it's saying that this has been submitted. It's telling the service writer to go ahead and look it over. So the service writer at this time, they're going to look it over. They can see the technician has added some notes here that are valuable for the customer. So they're going to tap inside here and just hit a space bar so that way the notes are accepted. The service writer is going to check down and make sure all the jobs are marked fully completed. He can tap on this and send the customer just the work order section only with all the new notes on it. So that's what they're going to do here. They're going to hit the work order update button to send all these nice notes back over to the management system so that way they don't have to copy and paste them or retype them. They're going to tap on the CRM Next tab and they're going to set up for the next appointment. And so this was a maintenance visit on this time. We want to make sure that we see them no more than 3 months from now. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that on the next visit, they don't really care about the wipers and washers, or the hood shocks, or the air filter, or the cabin air filter. They do care about the dry belt and tensioner, power steering fluid, brake fluid, motor mounts, and belt. And the transmission fluid, we're going to turn that off. Now what we can do is hit this bell icon and look at the next reminder before the customer ever gets it. And we can see that we've got a nice informational reminder that's going to go to the customer on the next due date using the information that we sent them today. Now we can move it over to waiting for pickup. We can go over to management system, and let's open this up. And now what we want to do is we want to enter them notes for the job itself. And it's telling you the job notes have been added. And you can see here's all the notes here ready to go. We're going to go ahead and put the out mileage in here. We're going to assign the technician. We're going to apply that to all tasks. And obviously if this is a real repair order, there'd be lots of parts on here and all kinds of different prices and so on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to apply a payment. We're going to say this customer paid in nice green money, cash payment. They paid $496.13, save. And now what we're going to do is change this over to an invoice. Yes, it can't be undone, and that's perfectly fine with me. And then we're going to hit save. And now this is no longer needed here, but if the service writer has a need to get back to it, if they go ahead and move over here to waiting for pickup, it will reside here. Now that it's been paid and invoiced, it will automatically be removed from the screen here.